Alright, well I know I'm pretty far behind on this video here. There's some other videos that I want to talk about as well. I just literally don't have time, but this one I feel like it's got a lot of importance to it. I've also been seeing this number 57 and also 51 a whole bunch in the last few days. So maybe I'll mention a little bit of that at the end if I have time, but anyway, we had Vanity, the Prince protege who died. The girl associated with Prince, her name was Vanity. She died at the age of 57. Also, her real name, Denise Matthews, in gematria equals 57 and 165. So literally, her name adds to 57. She dies at the age of 57. Also, then her full name was Denise Katrina Matthews, which adds up to 86 and 239. Interesting things about 86 I could talk about, but 239 really associated with this year. We're in the 239th year of the United States. We've seen tons of 239 and 923 coding. And she also died on the last day of Lupercalia, February 15th, and then they didn't report it until the 16th. So interesting, she died on the 46th day of the year. Vanity in gematria adds up to 46. And I mean, we talked about the Super Bowl being coded with the 1985 Chicago Bears. This year was the 46th modern era Super Bowl. The Chicago adds up to 46 in gematria. The 85 Bears won, scoring 46 points using the new 4-6 revolutionary defense. The 91 really sticks out to me though with Vanity. She died in Fremont, California. Fremont equals 91. I've also talked a ton about 91 being a bad number ever since the guy from the movie Herbie the Love Bug died. His name was Dean Jones. He died at the age of 84. He died on 9/1 of 2015. I said that the Nebraska Cornhuskers are going to have a bad season because of this, because their mascot is Herbie. There was Teen Wolf stuff that connected to the Nebraska Cornhuskers and whatnot. And then I just started seeing 91 over and over. Jimmy Carter turned 91 the same day of the Roseburg, Oregon shooting, where there's 91 days left until the end of the year on October 1st. George Bush Sr. or Bush 41, he also turned 91 this year. Interesting too that it's Bush 41. I noticed that the 91st day of the year is April 1st, similar to 4/1. This guy is a big Skull and Bones member. You know, so is his son. Lots of death around Skull and Bones. Lots of coding with Skull and Bones. I even noticed that every president of the United States that's been assassinated had connections to Skull and Bones. I just want to show you here. Skull and Bones, literally founded in 1832, so Abraham Lincoln wasn't assassinated until 1865. Interesting too, I'm not sure of the exact date of this, but 1832 to 1865 is a span of 33 years. And if it's only the 32, still interesting because this was founded in 32, and then it was 32 years later that Abraham Lincoln would have died. Anyway, in gematria, Skull and Bones equals 149 and 41. So like I said, it's connected to that 91. And lots of just bad things this year. Vincent Roy Margera, which is Don Vito, he died this year. His name adds up to 91. One of the Nebraska Cornhusker football players, can't think of his name, Pearson L. or whatever. His full name adds up to 91. Cameron Wake of the Miami Dolphins, who wears number 91, tore his Achilles. There was lots of other things, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but interesting here. So, Skull and Bones 149, also the small wave 41. Abraham Lincoln died on April 15th. That adds up to 149. The next president to die in office was the 20th president, James A. Garfield. A lot of interesting things about him as well. His name adds up to 56. Abraham Lincoln even died at the age of 56 in the year 65. He died in April, the only month that adds to 56, in Washington, D.C. that adds up to 56. This guy's name adds up to 56 as well, but look, the 91s. He died on 9/19, the mirrors, 91 and 19. Also in gematria, if you add up September 19th equals 91, The guy was even born on November 19th, another day that adds up to 91. And I'll just point it out here really quick. This is the day that he died. I mean, the 91 references. The next president to die in office was William McKinley, the 25th president. Look at the year he died, 1901. In numerology, you don't use the zero. So literally 191, 19 and 91. Also, September 14th. In other parts of the world, they write the date as this. In America, we write it as 9/14. But in a lot of other places, they write it as 14-9, just like the 149. Just like skull and bones in gematria equals 149. Interesting, then. So let's move on here. John F. Kennedy. Would you believe that he was born on the 149th day of the year? And guess what? Barack Obama, just to throw it out there, he hasn't been assassinated yet. He's born on August 4th. August 4th. A day with 149 days left until the end of the year. And they love coding this stuff, this mirrored type of stuff. So just one more reason I think Obama is done for this year. Anyway, let's move on to this Vanity lady. So it said she died of renal failure. Renal failure equals 59 and 122. Just lots of stuff with these numbers this year. This number coded all over black people. We're in Black History Month. Slave 59, Negro 59. You know, Motown Records came out in 59. Blues 59. Tobacco 59. The 59th day of the year is in February, Black History Month. Tons of other stuff with that I mentioned previously. But also Pope Francis, who seems to be super loaded in the coding this year. Pope Francis equals 59 and 122. And I guess I wrote it in here too. So February, the only month that adds up to 42, just like the word nigger, 42. And look at the coding of it. When you break it down, 5 plus 9, kind of like the 59. 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 9. You know, so interesting it would happen in February of this lady dying, the black lady. What I wanted to point out is nigger, the big way, equals 60. This year is a leap year, and February actually ends on the 60th day of the year. So once again, it fits the whole coding of this. Also interesting, she was married to a former Oakland Raider named Anthony Smith. And his name in gematria equals 58, just like Freemasonry. Interesting. His name, the big way, equals 166, just like if you write out February 15th, 2016, the day that she died. But he was just sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms for murder on, wouldn't you know, 1/22 of 2016. I mean, give me a break. That just seems so odd. The only guy that she ever married, he just got sentenced to a murder sentence on 1/22 of this year, and then she dies 24 days later. In the Super Bowl, I talked a lot about the X theme and how it tied into the black rights and whatever. Malcolm equals 24. X is the 24th letter of the alphabet. Malcolm X's real name is Malcolm Little. Little equals 24. Beyonce came out and they did the formation song. They formed the X. She wore the X just like Michael Jackson on her shirt or whatever. The score was 24-10. 24 equal X equals 24. In Roman numerals, X is 10. So the score was 24-10. Interesting too, I'm talking about 91. This is one of their most famous songs, Nasty Girl. The single was released on October 1st, 1982, the day with 91 days left until the end of the year. Nasty Girl equals 44 and 125. The word kill equals 44. I've mentioned a lot about earthquakes. Earthquake equals 44. It happened during the last day of Lupercalia, which is the 15th of February. Lupercalia equals 44, an ancient Roman festival where they celebrate and sacrifice the wolf. They celebrate death and whatnot, so interesting. The group was called Vanity 6. Vanity 6 equals 44 and 143. I've talked a ton about 143 regarding earthquakes or destruction. You had the Braden Joplin guy who died in southwest Iowa, right around where Johnny Carson was actually from. The Johnny Carson show, the last episode was on 5/22 of 19 years before the Joplin, Missouri earthquake. I can't remember the exact year, but Joplin, Missouri earthquake, or Joplin, it says earthquake, that's supposed to say tornado. Joplin, Missouri tornado happened on 5/22 of 2011. And it seems like a lot of this coding goes back to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 50, they didn't use Roman numerals this year, but if they did, Super Bowl L equals 143 and 44, just like Vanity 6. I even talked about the death of Grizzly Adams and how it tied into the movie Happy Gilmore. And the scene after Chubbs dies, they say Grizzly Adams did have a beard. Chubbs was played by Carl Weathers, who's also Apollo Creed, who's also Action Jackson in the movie Action Jackson that Vanity actually co-stars with. So I know there's something connected to this. I mean, I've never watched this movie before, so maybe I need to watch it, but I guarantee there's something about this movie. There's something about him that's definitely coded. And I also talked about how Apollo Creed on the movie Rocky, he dies on August 31st, 1985. Lots of stuff the 85 Bears and Back to the Future that ends and begins in 1985. And this number 143 that's connected to him. The worst ever East Coast earthquake was on a date numerology of 143. Also in Charleston, where the Civil War began. Mentioned a lot about the 99 coding. And then the 99th prime is 523. 523 normally in a regular year is the 143rd day. There's been a lot of coding to the number 522 this year, which interesting, 522 would be the 143rd day this year. Even how they talked about Antonin Scalia going quail hunting the day before he died. And then, you know, it's the whole joke of Dick Cheney shooting the guy when he was hunting, which happened exactly 522 weeks before Antonin Scalia died even. Anyway, she's a protege of Prince. Prince protege equals 79 and 151. I talked about the 151 and how it's connected to the 99 and the assassination of Lincoln, JFK, Obama. Tons of stuff coded to this. It just takes too long to keep talking about it. Also, I always remember Prince is changing his name to the artist formerly known as Prince, which adds up to 151 as well. 9th president to die in office, if you write that out in gematria, it equals 151. Obama will be the 9th president to die in office. The first president to die in office was the 9th president. Obama's 9 presidents after JFK. Prince's full name, Prince Rogers Nelson, equals 100 and 226. Don't know a whole lot about that. The 226, if you do it as a date, would be February 26th, and the Julian and the Gregorian, the first day of Lupercalia would also be 226. Prince Nelson equals 63 and 144. Just interesting, the 144 is connected a lot to all of this assassination of Obama coding, assassination of political figures. The word 44 equals 144. April 4th, like 44, equals 144. The first president to die in office died 4 weeks and 4 days after becoming the president, and he died on 4/4. So the real reason I think they used Prince here is because I've talked a lot about Queen Elizabeth dying and Prince Charles becoming the new king of Britain, England, whatever. You know, so just super interesting. And it really is still coded to the Super Bowl. Prince in gematria equals 38 and 65. I mentioned a lot about Philadelphia as well. Philadelphia equals 65. You know, that's where the Fresh Prince is from. 38 is the number. 38, death equals 38. 38 also super coded into the Super Bowl. Colorado equals 38. The Super Bowl was on the 38th day of the year. Colorado, the 38th state. Panthers equals 38. Lots of 38 with the Super Bowl. But I only have 13 more seconds left, so I'm going to end it here. I'll just make a part 2. See you in part 2.